Is in Corpus Christi today to champion his administration's aggressive push to expand domestic energy production, with South Texas, one of the most critical energy corridors in the entire country, now front and center of this. Now, we're going to have team coverage of today's visit, multiple cameras from the president's remarks to the local reaction that is being seen among the community here in the Coastal Bend. And our team on the ground includes Mike Gillespie, Natalia Osuna, and Ryan Hopper. They will be joining us later in this broadcast. Now, the president making the Coastal Bend the backdrop for his administration's most ambitious energy agenda yet, the push to fast-track American oil and gas production. So, as you just saw moments ago, let's go ahead and take you now live full to the Port of Corpus Christi, where all of this is happening. Actually, this appears to be the shot from when he was perhaps taking off. Maybe we can go back to the live shot of where the event is happening there at the port. There it is. Okay, so there's the podium where we have seen several politicians already come up and speak. Of course, the ship channel right behind them. Some of the politicians, including Denise Villalobos, Eric Flores, Dustin Burrows, Speaker of the House, and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, as well as Governor Greg Abbott. So it looks like there's a pause in the speakers there, and we will be checking back and forth on that shot as folks get up to the podium. At this time, we do want to go to one of our reporters who is out in the field, our Ryan Hopper, who has been pretty much across Corpus Christi today ahead of the president's visit here to the Coastal Bend. Let's go ahead and check in now with him live. Ryan, talk to me. Where are you at? I see Whataburger in your background.
Yes, you do, Leslie. Definitely Whataburger in the background. I am off SPID in Old Brownsville Road here in Corpus Christi, just off the highway where President Trump is expected to visit later, which begs the question, what will he order? A patty melt? I don't know. Now, he has been to Whataburger before on stops to Texas, at least 2 times that I could find, though. He does have a propensity for loving fast food, so it may have been more. Now, last we heard, the president is about to land or soon to land at CCIA, and will be heading straight to the port for his speech before returning to this Whataburger. And Leslie, I was down at the port this morning and covering the Trump train over by the water, and I caught up with dozens of the president's supporters at the Trump train, including quite a few families from as far as 2 hours away making the trip. And then I went to the port, met up with honestly hundreds of people, shook so many hands. Some got there as early as 6 in the morning to get in line to get the best possible seat to see the president. Many say they're concerned with our area's water crisis and say that if they got to have a private meeting with the president, they would plead for some federal help with our massive water shortage here in South Texas. And one of them, a man named Dylan, drove in 2 hours from Karnes City, way up by San Antonio, to get in line at 7:30 in the morning. He tells me specifically he wants Trump to help this area with desalination and taking the appropriate steps to deal with the byproducts of it. And he wasn't alone, as people I've talked to across the political spectrum are worried about our water situation.
I think we need common sense in water industry. I mean, we have ranches where I'm from, and we run all of our ranches off a water well and all the aquifer down there. And I mean, we've been in a drought for 2 years, and water is very scarce right now where I'm from. And so it's very scary to hear of all this. So I'm hoping Trump can get the word out there and get something flowing for us here.
Now, one other thing to keep track of is going to be not just what Trump picks on the Whataburger menu, but you're going to want to watch today at the rally if he picks a Senate candidate in the Republican Senate primary for the United States Senate. You have Representative Wesley Hunt, sitting Attorney General Ken Paxton, and the incumbent Senator John Cornyn, who has got a tough primary challenge on his hands. And you know an endorsement from the president could make a big difference in that race, and I'm sure that's what Dr. Bill Criss, who we also have on the program, will talk about later. And with that, Leslie, no Trump here at Whataburger yet. I wish I could go in and get some food myself, frankly, getting a little hungry, but I'm going to send it back to you.
All right, Ryan, thank you so much for that report. And we're going to be checking back in with our Ryan Hopper throughout this newscast as we lead up to the 5 and 6 o'clock news. And I know he's on President Watch there at Whataburger, so hopefully the next time we go back to him, he is there. Alrighty, so you kind of saw some different shots of the line in Ryan's report just now. That was earlier this morning outside of the Port of Corpus Christi. This is the crowd inside. Today's crowd's been growing for some time now. The energy, the Sea District as a whole, had been mounting throughout the morning. Both supporters, even protesters alike, making their voices heard. The president in Corpus Christi, and he's bringing his drill baby drill policy straight to the coastal bend and talking about what it means for communities across South Texas. But again, this is a live look at that crowd this afternoon there at the Port of Corpus Christi, where the president is preparing to take the podium. Perhaps here, he is scheduled to speak at 3:30, so we will be monitoring that, of course, for you. And the moment he takes the podium, we will be going to that live so that we can all listen and watch together. You see this crowd, it's huge. As you can imagine, a visit like this, of this level, takes a lot of planning and preparations. It was Wednesday of last week we first received word that a high-profile visit could be coming to the coastal bend. Over the days that became more solidified, we got things confirmed. At the port where this is, we're talking days worth of logistics. We caught up with DPS Sergeant Rob Mallory to ask him what a visit of this nature takes from a security and safety standpoint.
The president's visit has been the talk of Corpus for the past week, but I feel like the same message I always share with everyone still applies: is we need folks to pay attention. We're on the roadway because there may be road closures, there may be detours. Our job is out there to provide public safety to the general public here in the Corpus Christi area. That's for residents and visitors as well. And so we'll continue to do that this weekend throughout President Trump's visit to our city.
And if you have been out on the roads today, you likely saw a lot of traffic on this Friday, but perhaps even an increase in law enforcement with a visit high profile as this. Again, the president expected to take the stage in about 15 minutes at 3:30. And after today's speech, the president will be sitting down one-on-one with our Mike Gillespie for an exclusive interview where we are expected to hear him speak on anything from energy, the energy agenda, our water crisis here in Texas, and of course, given our proximity to the border, immigration. Once that is available, again, we will be taking that live. But we do want to go ahead and bring in now Dr. Bill Chris. We always love having you join us during high election night, politicians in town. So thank you so much for being here. What are you keeping an eye and an ear out for during this speech?
Well, you mentioned election, and we have primary elections coming up. Election day is on Tuesday, as you know. And politicians do politics, so they can talk about policy, but the real reason why they fly around and do stuff, it usually has some political content to it. And right now, the Republican Party is in trouble in Texas based on the voting patterns that we're seeing from early voting. So far, depending on who you believe, there have been 80 to 100,000 more votes cast in the Democratic primary than in the Republican primary, even though there's a very hotly contested U.S. Senate primary between Ken Paxton, the Attorney General, and John Cornyn, the sitting United States Senator. So
who are there today? Everybody's here.
Yeah, there's a vapor trail of politicians that follow behind Air Force One wherever it goes. So everybody who's anybody on the Republican side is going to want to get up there and say something or get a picture taken with President Trump, because in the Republican primary, President Trump's endorsement is still a huge thing. And one of the reasons you're going to see all the Senate candidates on the Republican side here is because they're still jockeying to see if they can get some kind of last-minute endorsement from President Trump in the primary.
And of course, you know, we had the Energy Secretary Energy Secretary here in Corpus Christi, actually in Gregory at Chenier yesterday for that visit, and then in Portland today at a gas station this morning. And of course, with this event taking here at the port, which again, here's a live look. For folks who work, on the rigs at the port, in the refineries, what could come out of today's remarks that directly affects them?
It's unclear to me what the president could do that would in some way affect local jobs in the oil and gas industry. The thing that drives oil and gas production is the price of a barrel of oil, the price of crude oil. And there's a sweet spot for that price, and there are indirect measures that the Congress and the president can take to affect that price level. But if the price gets too low, you can say drill baby drill all you want, there's not going to be any drilling. And if the price gets too high, then you have demand problems, and that can also cause problems it's not sustainable for the oil and gas industry. So on the other hand, the president, the current administration, doesn't seem to really feel like it needs congressional approval to spend money.